Earlier this month, Jeff Sessions indicated that the White House intends on being incredibly aggressive in identifying leakers and also making sure that they pay consequences for speaking to the media. But now there are reports that one of those top leakers could be Bannon. In fact, according to Politico, in June, Trump started telling aides that he suspected Bannon was a source of negative stories after a slew of stories about Bannon, quote, winning policy wars in the White House, like Trump's decision to pull out of the Paris Climate Accord. And the president told Bannon to knock it off. And that's according to a senior administration official who ironically leaked this story to Politico.
But one thing you said there, Anna, is really important and interesting, which is that so Bannon has been undermining people that are his opponents within the White House. He's not going after liberals in that case. He's going after fellow conservatives who he views to not be conservative enough or nationalist enough, et cetera, right? But Trump didn't object to any of that. Trump objected when Bannon took credit for something Trump perceived he did.
Yeah.
So that's when he said, wait a minute, you touched my ego. You guys tearing each other to shreds. I don't care about that. That's about you. That's not, we look like a mess. So what? Like Trump doesn't think that they look like a mess. He thinks he's winning, right? But if you touch his ego, then wait a minute.
I know, that's when he comes after you.
And there's also some potential risk for the White House in letting him go and firing him. And I think Priebus found that out, is that if you let him go, what he's going to come back at you with, you don't want. If he's in the White House, if he's working at the White House, you're able to control that a little bit, even if it does result in leaks, even if it does result in bluster and hateful speech and all those things. If it's aimed at you from outside the White House, should he ever be gone, that's far more dangerous.
Well, to your point, two great quotes here in the article. One aide said, if they ever want to let him go, they can see how dangerous he is from the outside.
Right.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Right, damn. And then Reince Priebus once told Bannon, to your point about it, how it's obviously him, right? Priebus said, you've got to get people to stop writing this shit because people know it's you. Right? You ran Breitbart. Breitbart runs all these stories. It's not that complicated. Who else is allies with Cernovich? No, it's you. It's you. Everybody knows it's you.
And the hope is that Kelly can sort of keep him in line. He's not going to listen to Reince Priebus. He doesn't like the party in the first place. Kelly might be able to keep him in line.
Maybe.
Might be. That's what they're thinking.
And he is laying low. So a bunch of like White House aides are on the golf course with Trump and they're having a good time. And apparently Bannon stayed behind and he's like quietly in his office plotting to take over the world. But there's also like a slew of negative news articles on Breitbart and other conservative outlets about HR McMaster. And of course, Bannon has some beef with HR McMaster because he was booted off the National Security Council. And so it's so easy to connect the dots. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of tough talk coming from Sessions, but I highly doubt that they're really gonna go after Bannon and do anything about these leaks.
All right, so let's give you more details because these are really, really interesting. So McMaster kicks off Steve Bannon really early on in the administration from the National Security Council. So that's it, Bannon hates him from then on, and all these articles started appearing in Breitbart and other right-wing outlets say, oh, McMaster, it's not even McMaster of his own domain. I don't think they said that in particular, but anyway, and then McMaster.
Have you been working on that one?
No,
okay,
it's just occurred to me.
Good.
Yeah, good. If you were working on it. Wow. Anyway, so then recently, McMaster also fires Ezra Cohen Watnick and Colonel Derek Harvey from the National Security Team, and they're both allies of Bannon. So now it's getting tighter and tighter in there. He's losing more and more allies. And then there's a guy named.
That might be a good time just to bring the Richard Higgins NSC.
That's exactly right.
All right, go ahead.
So then Rich Higgins is fired, and you were wondering who's Rich Higgins, and so was I. So they lifted up a rock and found all these little bugs, and then released them into the White House. These guys who were the fringe of the fringe, insane alt-right nationalist guys that Bannon just put into the national security complex, and they started writing insane memos. So Higgins wrote a memo. And where he said that he implied that McMaster represents an existential threat, or that Trump represents an existential threat to the cultural Marxist memes that dominate the prevailing cultural narrative. That's a quote, okay? Marxist memes. Like, what do you, like, these guys are nuts. They think that they're like Sharia law advocates and Marxists and Maoists just running around. The country's littered with them. They're like, okay, the Maoists are getting together with the Islamists, with the globalists, and they're hatching this plot. I've never met a Maoist in my life. Has anybody ever met a Maoist? Okay.
No.
So this is insane. This is total insane.
But I mean, this is also anti-Semitic sort of code, obviously.
Yes. So now Marxist is a little anti-Semitic, but the globalist is something that actually Steve Bannon coined. It's a term he coined to refer to Jews. Okay, right. There's no other polite way of saying it. So
plenty polite, by the way.
Yes. So because it's so weirdly anti-Semitic. All right. So let me give you the quote from another quote from Higgins' memo here. He said that those threatened by Trump include, quote, deep state actors, globalists, bankers, Islamists, and establishment Republicans. So this memo was mainly aimed at McMaster, who's the national security advisor, and his, and others in the administration, and saying he's working with the Jews and he's working with the Muslims. That's apparently a thing now, where the globalists, Marxists, bankers, and Islamists are working together and conspiring against Trump, and they're so mad because Trump is so good at beating them. What are you talking about? So of course he's fired, because
he's fired immediately.
Like they should have taken him out in a straitjacket.
But Trump was upset that he was fired.
Of course he is, because Trump's as insane as he is.
I love that. It happened. He wasn't upset about what he had said. He was upset that he was fired.
Yeah. So this is the insane soap opera that Donald Trump has created. And you remember when Donald Trump said during the campaign, we're gonna win so much, you're gonna get tired of winning?
I'm real tired of winning, let me just tell you that. If this is winning, I wanna start losing.
Well, I mean, look, maybe he was right after all, because as progressives, we couldn't have done anywhere near this kind of damage to conservatives in the Republican Party.
Right.
So I am getting a little exhausted for winning. Help us build independent media. Become a member of the Young Turks. TYTnetwork.com/join.